This is a Smilodon, with teeth as long as bananas and the upper body strength of Arnold Schwarzenegger, a far cry from your typical house cat. One of the deadliest mammalian predators in history, it once dominated the Ice Age, taking down prey 10 times its weight. Sadly, they're now extinct. Today, we'll take a look at their arguably strange morphology, surgical killing technique, and what led to their eventual demise. You can probably guess who was responsible. Though you will occasionally hear the odd country bumpkin call them that, Smilodons aren't actually saber-toothed tigers. They belong to the extinct subfamily Machaerodontinae, while tigers are part of the Pantherinae subfam. Smilodon itself is the genus name, and as you don't know, means knife tooth in Greek. Trust me, it has nothing to do with beaming, grinning, or smiling. There are 3 recognized species: Gracilis, meaning slender, Fatalis, meaning deadly, and Populator, meaning the one who populates, I guess. Smilodons existed from about 2.5 million to 10,000 years ago in a period known as the Pleistocene Epoch, which is just posh for the last ice age. Scientists can't keep words simple, I'm afraid. Their fossils have been found all over the Americas, but numerous specimens in the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, where the bodies of Smilodons who got too greedy for their own good have been preserved wonderfully by the asphalt. Despite being 2.5 feet shorter than the African lion, Smilodon Populator was double its weight at an astounding 400 kilos, making it the most robust and powerfully built cat in history. Imagine a cross between Bane and a jaguar, and you'll have a pretty fair idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
Its upper body, neck, and forelimbs were exceptionally well developed, to say the least. As for the famous canines, they were a foot long, but relatively slender and fragile. This is because they were intended for quick precision killing, rather than the slow, suffocating bites of big cats today. It's like comparing a dagger to a broadsword, if that makes any sense. Their heel bones were unusually long, which helped in jumping prey, literally. And lastly, they had a bobcat tail and short limbs, as they relied more on strength than speed for their daily bread. Or I guess daily meat in this case. Back in the Ice Age, animals were more or less ginormous. Smilodon lunched on bisons larger than Hyluxes, camels taller than Peter Crouch, pigs that took steroids, and giant sloths 30 times heavier than your standard refrigerator. As it probably hunted in packs, it may have tangled with mammoths, but it would still be a suicide mission, I suppose. Needless to say, these animals could have put a Smilodon out of business, so the cats worked as ambush predators, surprising and immobilizing their prey before it could inflict any damage. This explains their habitat of choice, bush and forests, which provided plenty of cover. Like mixed martial artists, Smilodon enjoyed grappling with its prey, wrestling it to the ground and holding it still with its muscular forelimbs. If the unfortunate victim kept fidgeting, the cat's teeth could break. After all, despite their fearsome appearance, they were rather delicate, rather like obsidian knives, as a matter of fact. Smilodon generally avoided the belly as its curve would lessen the bite's force, the same way biting a tomato is hampered by its skin. At least that's what I think. What am I talking about? Stick to the script, man. It would aim for the throat instead, stabbing at and rupturing the carotid artery or jugular vein. Surgical precision, you might say. Sort of if Jack the Ripper was a cat with a medical degree. You guys are loving these analogies. Feel free to like and subscribe. The blood loss would be so much that the prey would kick the bucket in a couple of minutes. Surprisingly, however, Smiley's bite force was relatively weak. Only a third of a lion's, in fact. It made up for this, though, by opening its mouth to an angle of 110 degrees, rotating its skull, and flexing its neck muscles extensively for extra force, now moving to why they became extinct. Smooth transition, boys. The Ice Age ended when changes in the Earth's orbit and axial tilt, known as Milankovitch cycles incidentally, caused an increase in the amount of solar radiation reaching Earth and triggered climate change. Habitat loss ensued, droughts, vegetation change, etc., etc. This meant that all the colossal herbivores died out, and our friend the Smilodon, left with no prey, also went the way of the dino. Of course, there is a second theory. There always is. It was us. Fossils of Homo sapiens have been found dating back to the same period as Smilodons, meaning we evidently coexisted for quite some time. Eventually though, they died and we remained. Paleontologists have theorized that we hunted their prey to extinction, leaving them to starve. Or that our extensive use of fire agriculture left them with no accommodation. In other words, we burnt down their forest habitat. Anyhow, a smaller, faster prey species evolved. So did more agile predators, better suited to the arduous task of hunting them. And the Smilodon, the Herculean cat that represented the peak of saber-tooth evolution, faded into oblivion. If you want to absorb more knowledge, unlike most of the global population, watch some of my other videos, subscribe. There isn't really a downside to it, and you might even burn a few calories doing it. Anyway, you probably have nothing else to do, you sluggard.